Are you ready to see Scrooge's transformation come to a head in the penultimate episode of A Christmas Carol? In this exciting installment, we'll see Scrooge put his newfound understanding of the true meaning of Christmas into action as he makes amends with those he's wronged and spreads joy and generosity to those around him. Don't miss this heartwarming episode as we see Scrooge's redemption reach its climax. So tune in now to episode 25 of A Christmas Carol. Merry Christmas and welcome to episode 25 of A Christmas Carol. I am Dennis Wilborn, and I am very excited to see how Scrooge's transformation continues in these exciting installments. In the last episode, we left Scrooge waking up on Christmas morning, filled with the spirit of the holiday, and now he's ready to make amends with those he's wronged. Here we are in episode 25. We will see him put his newfound understanding of the true meaning of Christmas into action as he spreads his joy and generosity to those around him. So get your hot cocoa ready, snuggle up by the fire because I know it's cold, and join me as we watch Scrooge's redemption arc reach its climax in A Christmas Carol. Now tune in and get ready to feel the holiday spirit. Let's see what it's all about. The Last of the Spirits, Part 6. Here we are, Chapter 4. Vocabulary. The first is a verb, to pour. Pour. In this case, to come from or to come or go somewhere continuously in large numbers. So normally when we think of pour, we're thinking of like pouring a drink into a glass or something. Like I love to pour coffee into my mug. So in this case, though, we're talking about people coming or going in large numbers. Thousands of people came pouring out of the stadium after the match ended. Yeah, that happened recently in the World Cup. The next is an adjective. You might not hear this very often, but the word is blithe. In the case of this word, in this case, it means happy and not anxious. She welcomed us with a blithe attitude. Blithe. Next is a phrase, to make a dash. Make a dash. An act of going somewhere suddenly and or quickly. He made a dash for the door when he heard someone knock. Go, get it, right? Make a dash. It means to go quickly. And the next is the adjective, hearty. Hearty, showing friendly feelings for somebody. He gave me a hearty hug when we met. Yeah. All right. And the last one here is have one's heart set on something. A phrase, to have one's heart set on something. To want something very much. She had her heart set on winning the competition. Do you ever have your heart set on something? Like you've been thinking about maybe a gift you wanted for your birthday or for Christmas. You've got your heart set on getting that thing. Of course, when you don't get it, or if you don't get it, oh, it's so discouraging. But I hope we have a bit more happy news in this episode. Here we go. If you remember, the last we saw Scrooge, he had just woken up. He had just realized it's Christmas morning. He's not dead. And he sent a boy from the street to go buy the biggest prize turkey he could find. And they said at the very end, it was so big that when the turkey was alive, there's no way it could have stood on its two legs. All right. Part 6. Scrooge dressed himself all in his best and at last got out into the streets. The people were by this time pouring forth, as he had seen them with the ghost of Christmas present, and, walking with his hands behind him, Scrooge regarded everyone with a delighted smile. He looked so irresistibly pleasant, in a word, that 3 or 4 good-humored fellows said, "Good morning, sir. A Merry Christmas to you." And Scrooge said often afterwards that of all the blithe sounds he had ever heard, these were the blithest in his ears. In the afternoon, he turned his steps towards his nephew's house. He passed the door a dozen times before he had the courage to go up and knock. But he made a dash and did it. "Is your master at home, my dear?" said Scrooge to the girl.
"Yes, sir."
"Where is he, my love?"
"He's in the dining room, sir, with his mistress."
"He knows me," said Scrooge, with his hand already on the dining room lock. "I'll go in there, my dear." "Fred!" "Why, bless my soul!" cried Fred. "Who's that?" "It is I, your Uncle Scrooge. I have come to dinner. Will you let me in, Fred?" "Let him in!" He was at home in 5 minutes. Nothing could be heartier. His niece looked just the same. So did Topper when he came. So did the plump sister when she came. So did everyone when they came. Wonderful party, wonderful games, wonderful unanimity, wonderful happiness. But he was early at the office next morning. Oh, he was early there. If he could only be there first and catch Bob Cratchit coming late. That was the thing he had set his heart upon, and he did it. The clock struck 9. No Bob. 1/4 past. No Bob. Bob was full 18 minutes and a half behind his time. Scrooge sat with his door wide open, that he might see him come into the tank. There it is. Well, we are set up for a very interesting conclusion to our next episode, to the full story of the book. Are we going to see Scrooge change his ways, or are we going to see the old Scrooge appear? What do you think? All right, let's go with these questions. What was Scrooge's attitude walking the streets? Blithe. Is that what? Yeah, blithe. Yeah, he's happy, right? He's not walking with any anxiety. He's not anxious. He's just in a very friendly and open mood. He's walking all over the streets. What does it say? He looked so irresistibly pleasant. He regarded everyone with a delighted smile. So there, he's delighted. He's clearly in a good mood. So where did Scrooge go? Yeah, well, he went out in the street and he wound up going to his nephew Fred's house. His nephew's house. But did he go right in? Not at all. He went and back and forth a dozen times, or was it half a dozen? Either way, he went back several times to work up the courage. He passed the door a dozen times. What's a dozen? I'm sure by now you must know a dozen is 13. No, it's not. That's a baker's dozen. It's 12. Before he had the courage to go up and knock, but he made a dash and did it. So he rushed up there and finally did it. So he couldn't chicken out. And how did Fred react when he heard Scrooge was at the door? Yeah, about like you would expect, considering that his holiday spirit wasn't dampened at all by his invitation and being turned down the day before for the invitation. So surprisingly, he handled it very well. Next, did Scrooge have a good time at his nephew's? Well, I don't know, but there was a whole lot of wonderful Right here, wonderful party, wonderful games, wonderful unanimity, meaning everyone's the same, of the same mind, and wonderful happiness. I'd say he had a good time. And what did Scrooge want to do next morning? What did he have his heart set upon? Yeah, he wanted to be there early. He wanted to get there before Bob Cratchit arrived. I wonder why. Well, let's see. You'll have to let me know. Leave a comment down below. Language practice. You can take a look at this on your own. The link will be in the description. True or false questions as well. See how well you remembered the stories, this section. And now I've got to know. I want to know two things. Number one, what do you think about Scrooge's transformation? I mean, this is a big transformation. It's pretty huge. Is it going to stick around? Do you think it's real? Do you think it's genuine? Give me your thoughts. Let's hear what you think. And also, I want to hear what you think. Why do you think Scrooge was reluctant to knock on his nephew's door? What was he so afraid of? It said he had to work up the courage. He must have been afraid of something. So let me know what you think. What was he afraid of about knocking on the door? And that is all the time we have for this morning. Come back tomorrow. No, come back later today for the very last episode. Merry Christmas, by the way. It is Christmas Day and Christmas evening. You can watch the final episode and see just how much Scrooge has changed, or has he? Thanks for joining me on this reading of A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. And if you want to continue the story, just click on the box right over there. I am always grateful for your support, so please remember to like and subscribe for more from All About English. Merry Christmas.